Welcome back to Time Served, the channel that scans the docket so you don't have to. Although the entire country is frozen and some courts are even closed, it seems Judge Disanto has been heating things up in her courtroom and in the court watching world with all her recent clips. Since this is the case, I decided to dig through the archives to find this doozy, and boy, oh boy, does it deliver. Word of advice, do not berate court staff and Wyandotte because it will bite you, and the wheels of justice will come to a grinding halt for you because of this. Make sure to leave a comment, it really helps out the channel. Like and subscribe, set your notifications to all. Let's roll, nerds.
Good morning, Robert.
All right, thank you. And sir, your name for the record again, please?
Deferred.
Okay, thank you. And so Mr. Dupre was sentenced under deferred sentence, and so it was coming up on his end of his term, and so the court set this for a review hearing to close that out, but also the court wanted to address a couple other issues, counsel. And so I wanted there to not be any misunderstanding when I addressed it. So I didn't want to continue with any written communications to clarify those points. So the one, as it relates to the 212092 matter, Mr. Dupre is complied with and completed all terms. He is continuing to make his monthly payments, and there's only one missed payment so far, but everything else has been paid at the court.
Is the balance completed?
Okay. Is not. There is still, as of it appears as though there's $825 that is the balance. Is that accurate, Mr. Dupre?
How much you just said, sir?
$825.
Some over.
So your monthly payments will continue, even though your matter will be dismissed pursuant to statute based upon your plea. The payments, the $825 is still due and owing.
I plan on continuing to pay, so it's on that full.
Okay, and what is your monthly payment?
As of right now, probably $25-50.
Okay. So what would be a good payment to continue, just so I can put that in the file, so that if there's less than what the payment amount is, that isn't going to initiate a show cause?
Probably
$25. Okay, so I will make note of that in your file. Okay, obviously, if you can pay more, sir, then you can pay more. Otherwise, there'd be a minimum of $25 per month. And it seems as though you pay those usually towards the end of each month. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll continue that. Okay, and so, counsel, the other, just so I know that you probably weren't aware of it or not, I don't know, maybe you were, it doesn't require your representation, but if you'd like to stand next to Mr. Dupre so that if he has any questions, perhaps you may be able to answer them. But Mr. Dupre is a named victim in another matter. And so he he has requested, and there was ordered to be restitution paid to Mr. Dupre. And it appears as though Mr. Dupre has some frustrations with how he's receiving his restitution payments. And as a result of those frustrations, there has been inappropriate communications that he has sent to the court, to my court staff specifically. And so I wanted to address this so that Mr. Dupre is aware as to how the payments have been made by the defendant, Mr. Poole, and then in turn made to Mr. Dupre. Mr. Dupre seems to think that we had a staff member on vacation for 2 or 3 months instead of sending him his restitution payment. And that is not accurate. The court further, when Mr. Dupre was last in court for another matter, informed Mr. Dupre that the only communication he was permitted to have with the court was if he found it necessary to ask when he could anticipate his restitution payment. That was not sufficient apparently, because Mr. Dupre continued harassing communications and inappropriate communications with staff members. Now, I'm going to indicate this is the full history as to the restitution payments that were made by Mr. Poole, and then the restitution checks that were then sent to Mr. Dupre. So, and as the court did indicate, the restitution checks are sent out monthly. They're not sent out as they come in, because there are multiple people that are paying restitution, and so there's one time a month that my clerk supervisor goes through and then sends out the restitution checks. I will also note that there was a month that Mr. Dupre did not receive his check, but he received 3 checks about 2 weeks after that. And so the court will also note and let Mr. Dupre know that around that time, we were significantly short-staffed, and there was a vacation that was scheduled, and that the restitution payment did not go out in February. The court will also note that as I go through reading when the restitution payments were received, that you will see that perhaps it was after the other payments were made in January. Okay, so the first payment that was received by Mr. Poole was December 1st of 2022. A restitution payment was made to Mr. Dupre. The check was sent out on December 14th of 2022. You received that one, correct?
May I check my bank statements?
Okay.
Going to my cash out. What date did you say, I'm sorry?
Did you receive a check in the month of December? Because it was sent out December 14th of 2022, check number 5488.
I don't like your jerk-off name. I don't like your jerk-off face. I don't like your jerk-off behavior. And I don't like you, jerk-off.
Here's, I have one for December 23rd, and then after that.
Hold on, sir. Hold on.
Nope.
Hold on. So you received the one for December. Then there was a restitution payment made by Mr. Poole on January 26th. So then February would have typically been when there would have been a check sent. However, in February, that did not occur. So there was that check, that payment of $50 was mailed to you on March 15th. Then there was also a payment made by Mr. Poole on February 1st. That check was also mailed to you on March 15th. That was for $30. And then there was a restitution payment made again by Mr. Poole on February 17th, which was also mailed to you on March 15th in the amount of $35. And then on March 7th, another restitution payment was made by Mr. Poole in the amount of $20, and that was also mailed to you on March 15th. And all of those were included in check number 5589. So did you receive that payment?
March, yes.
Okay, you're saying for March, but that was for January, February, and March payment, just so you're aware.
Yes, that was when your probation director ended up telling me that your clerk ended up going on vacation instead of paying you.
No, sir, let me just be very clear. She didn't go on vacation instead of paying you. That isn't how that works.
That's not what I was told.
I am very certain that the words, she went on vacation instead of paying you, did not come out of my probation
The
director's
probation director specifically told me that she went on vacation and I should have been paid in a timely manner.
Hold on, sir. I don't dispute that my clerk went on vacation. She had a scheduled vacation. We were understaffed, and that payment did not go out to you. That's been acknowledged multiple times.
Okay.
Multiple times.
For a high status, I appreciate it.
And I've also, excuse me, I'm not finished. I'm not finished. We are talking about this because I've informed you not to communicate with my staff in the manner you've been communicating with them.
Why is your staff lying?
And that, sir, there has not been any lying by my staff. It has been acknowledged that you did not receive your February payment, or I'm sorry, your January payment was not received in February. Your February payment was received by you in March. So you received your January payment, your February payment, and your March payment in March. Is that correct?
True.
Okay, then. Then there is a payment made March 16th by Mr. Poole, which was right after the checks were sent out in March. So then that check wasn't going to be sent out until April. That check was sent out April 26th. That was check number 5643 in the amount of $10. Then Mr. Poole made another payment of March 23rd for $30. That was sent out in the same check of 5643 on April 26th. And then Mr. Poole made another payment on April 18th, which was included in that same check of 5643 because that was a payment of $50. And that was sent out on April 26th. And so you received that check, correct?
I have no idea at this point.
Well, you can check your bank statement.
I'd rather prefer not to at this point.
Oh, no, sir.
I'm with the high meeting.
Sir, we're doing this right now.
Okay, cool.
So you've indicated that you can check your bank statement.
What date?
Well, it was mailed out on April 26th, so perhaps you would have received it the end of April or the beginning of May.
For what amount?
Well, that would have been $50, $30, which is 80, and 10, so that would have been $90.
Okay, so why are my checks being split occasionally and not?
What do you mean?
I've been receiving inconsistent pay. If he's been paying $50, that was supposed to be $90 and I got $90. Why am I only receiving $25 for July 4th?
Okay, I haven't gotten there yet for you. So just one moment. Did you receive a payment of $90?
Yes.
Okay, and when did you receive that payment?
Looks around the 30th.
Of April?
Yes.
Okay. So then there was not a payment made in May. The May payment was going to be late. Mr. Poole informed his probation officer of that. And so there was a payment made on June 9th of $25. That was the only payment made in June. And so on June 28th, check number 5745 was mailed out to you in the amount of $25. And so you received that in July, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So that is the total amount of restitution payments that have been made to date. So when you're asking about inconsistent payments, just so you're aware, when payments are made, there is, that payment is taken apart, applied towards certain fines and costs, and then to restitution as well. So if there's a $100 payment, $50 goes towards fines and costs, and $50 goes towards restitution. If there's a $50 payment made, $25 goes towards costs and fines, $25 goes towards restitution.
So pool paid $180 in April, or the month before April? Because then at that point, you guys are overpaying me.
I'm sorry?
$90, April 26th.
You received a check for a payment, yes, of
And then
$90.
50% split, then he would have been paying $180.
Well, let's see, in the month of April. It shows restitution was applied to your account for $50. Workforce was paid and miscellaneous fees were paid. So it appears though there was $100 that was paid, $50 applied to restitution, $50 applied to workforce. And but what was included in that payment that you received on April 26th was also March. So it wasn't just a 1 month payment. So let me just confirm. That was made after March 15th. So March 16th, a restitution payment of $10, state cost of $5, workforce of $5. Then March 23rd, $30 in restitution, $30 towards workforce. So that would be 160, 70, 80, $100, $180 was paid from March 16th. So March 16th and April. So that's how much was paid and you received half of that.
Just want to make sure I'm not being overpaid. My concerns are over now.
Does that clarify any questions that you have regarding restitution?
At the moment, yes.
Okay, so all monies that have been paid by Mr. Poole for restitution have been received by you based upon the accounting that I just read from the computer screen that was just printed this morning.
Yes.
Okay. In the future, sir, if you have a question about restitution, now that...
I won't be talking to this court ever again.
Excuse me, do not interrupt me, please. Now that it's been clarified from the first payment in December all the way through the last payment that Mr. Poole made and that you received a check for, that's done. There's no need to revisit that at all. Nobody went on vacation for 2 to 3 months instead of paying you. Nobody chose to go on vacation instead of paying you. There was clearly a month that restitution checks were not mailed out. It was not only for you. It was a shortened month, depending on when those payments are received and when this vacation was scheduled. That's what happened, sir. It wasn't anything that was done deliberately to you.
Okay.
My staff works extremely hard. They work very diligently and professionally. And for you to communicate in the manner you have been and to suggest otherwise is not appropriate. If you find it necessary to contact the court because you'd like to know when your next restitution payment was sent out or received by the court, or when you could expect to receive it, you can ask only that question. No other additional comments are permitted, and absolutely no cursing or inappropriate comments to my staff. If you do not comply with that order, sir, you could be held in contempt of court. Are we on the same page?
Clear.
Thank you. You may stop over probation to receive a copy of your paperwork on your 21-2092 man.
I hope I never see any jerks again.